Studio. I left all the mistakes in there. They're free. I don't charge for those. Hope you're all well. Doing great. Sorry, it's been a couple of weeks since I posted a video like this with some tips and tricks. It's been a busy couple of weeks doing some gigs with the police band. Got some more content of the police band and other gigs and stuff coming your way in the form of those vlogs I've been doing. A few people are enjoying those, so I'm going to chuck them up anyway. People are saying, don't, it'll confuse the algorithm. I don't care, I'm just doing what I enjoy doing. So, thanks for being here once again. Got a little bit of a trick today, trick or a hack. It's more about a position that I enjoy playing in all the time, which gets me a lot of ground for one specific area of the neck. And I know a lot of people will tell you, you've got to break out that box, you've got to get all over the neck. Sometimes a limitation of one particular area helps you think more melodically, and the notes that you're choosing and gets you listen to the chords underneath what you're doing a bit more, rather than focused on where can I go next, what can I do. Staying in one spot and just listening to the chords underneath and picking the notes that fit, you know, generally make you sound more expensive. And you know I love that phrase, because when you're doing it for a living, it's about sounding expensive, you know. So, the chords at the beginning. We're in the key of E today. So, E7, which is your 1 chord. A couple of bars of that, then an A7, which is your 4 chord in the key of E. Back to the E chord, which is your 1 chord again. E7. Then B7, which is your 5 chord. Go back to the start. So 1, 4, 1, 5. So E7, A7, E7, B7. And basically all this is that I'm taking major and minor pentatonics and sort of fusing them together in one spot, and also trying to hit those chord tones as well. And I know there's, I've had a couple of comments lately from people saying, the way you're teaching could be confusing to people. Yeah, it probably is. Because we all see the neck, or we all hear music differently, you know, we're all unique, we all do things our own way. So one guy commented, it's like you seem to think you found something new. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just showing you what I do and what I enjoy doing and what I like the sound of, and the little tricks that I found for how I understand the guitar that work for me. Okay, I'm not professing that I found something brand new that no one's ever found before. It's not really possible, is it? It's my take on it. So anyway, to those of you that maybe find my style of teaching a little bit tricky to get your head around, that's okay. We're all different, and I think that's what makes music a beautiful thing, is that everybody approaches it differently and does their own thing. So anyway, this is just my version, right? So I'm after getting on my high horse a minute after all that, I'm using an E major pentatonic and an E minor pentatonic in the same spot. And you might already know this, but over a major chord sequence, you can play the minor pentatonic, which gives you that bluesy kind of thing, right? So if you're playing a major chord sequence like this, if I put the, let's turn the amp down. If I put the minor pentatonic over it, it will sound bluesy, right? Over a major chord sequence. Without the fluffs. So that's what gives it that kind of bluesy sound, because you get a minor third and a flat 7 over the major chord sequence. That's what gives it that bluesy kind of sound, because if you look at an E7, you've got a flat 7 in that chord. That's what makes it an E7, right? So you've got a D note in that E chord, which makes it an E7. So in the minor pentatonic, you've got that flat 7 sound. That's what gives it that kind of bluesy thing. So minor pentatonic works over a major chord sequence and it makes it blues. So also over the major chord sequence, I'm using the major pentatonic, right? So that sounds like this. pentatonic, obviously over a major chord sequence, perfect. So all I'm doing is I'm putting them both in the same spot. Now this happens all over the neck. You can put any two scales together in the same spot because everything repeats, okay? Everyone knows that. I'm not finding anything new to go back to that. This is just where I prefer to do it, right? So I've got minor pentatonic scale in E in position 5. So E minor pentatonic, position 5, which, turn the overdrive off, which sounds like this. So I'm mainly focusing on the minor pentatonic in E just there. So it's just 10, 12, 10, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. You know I'm rubbish with the fret numbers, terrible. So that's the position I'm using. Nice and easy shape to remember because it's symmetrical. You know, you've got, I like that shape, it's nice. So also just there, we've got the E major pentatonic, starting on the 12th fret on the E string. I think of this as the relative minor. So I'm thinking of this as C sharp minor pentatonic. So C sharp minor pentatonic, position 1. C sharp minor pentatonic is the same as E major. C sharp minor and E major are the same notes from a different start point, okay? They are like brother and sister DNA, okay? So I've got the C sharp minor pentatonic, which is my E major, and then the E minor pentatonic, right next to each other in the same 4 frets. So you could do that anywhere, you could do it in any position. They will be together all over the neck. This is just where I like it. And the reason I'm talking about it is because when I hear other guitarists playing, I think, oh, I love that phrase. The way they're phrasing that is really cool. I love that sound. It's because a lot of the time they're in this position. It's what I like. It might not be what you like, but just showing you what I like. That's what I'm here for. So when you fuse these two together, it gets a kind of a Mixolydian sort of sound, right? And you could just learn a Mixolydian scale and just play Mixolydian all day. I nearly can't say it. So the reason I'm doing it in 2 separate scales, because I know some people will be commenting saying, but why don't you just play Mixolydian mode and just learn the shape? It's because, for me, the phrasing is different when I'm not just thinking Mixolydian the whole time. The phrasing is different when I'm thinking, oh, I'm in the major for a second, then I'm going to slide into the minor, then I'm back into the major. My brain sees it in a different way. And you've got an extra couple of bits in there, an extra bit of colour by using both scales slightly separately. Okay, so you're going to get a Mixolydian sound by and you get a bluesy sound because you get the minor third and the major third. But I'm not playing it as one whole shape. I'm playing it as the 2 separate scales. Minor pentatonic. And then sliding into the major. And I've covered this a little bit on a video before, but I thought it goes slightly more in depth today. So that's when the magic happens, is when you start to fuse the two together. So for me, starting in the major pentatonic, sliding into the minor, which is like the major blues scale really, but so again, you could just learn the major blues scale, but for me, treating it as 2 separate scales is making me think and play differently. So all that kind of stuff. That's where it's at for me. So major, minor, put the two together. Just a really nice phrasing to it, you know? So, I'm doing a bit of that. Something that's a really cool little lick to try is where you're playing minor pentatonic for the middle 2 strings, and then major pentatonic for the thinnest 2 strings. So you've got minor pentatonic shape, and then major pentatonic shape. And you can see straight away why I do that, because I'm lazy. And it goes 9, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12, 9, 12. It's a really easy shape. Now that has a really interesting sound to it. You wouldn't want to stay on it all day long, but it fuses the two together really, really nicely. So you get a fifth, a flat 7, 1, minor third, major third, another fifth, a sixth, major sixth, and a 1. So you get a real nice kind of mixture of sounds from that. And this encapsulates exactly how I think of guitar playing a lot of the time, is that I'm always trying to find a shape and a pattern that's memorable, that gets me the sound that I want, rather than learning a whole separate scale for one particular thing, and then another separate scale for another particular thing. This for me, it's just got a colour to it, which I like. So, I'll use that shape. One way of kind of approaching it. I was just manipulating it, so I'm sure you've all done that kind of lick before, where you're just using a scale and you're kind of manipulating the scale, but going back for notes and forward and so on. And then I'm finished on the flat 7 from the minor pentatonic there. So something else I'm also doing in this shape, a couple of other things. One is I'm targeting the chord changes. So when it gets to the A and the B, I'm using the A major triad and the B major triad within these to highlight it. So in this shape, there's a few places you can do that, but I'm focusing on an A major triad that's here, which comes from a C shape. If you know your caged stuff, that's your C shape A chord, because this is your root note. And then I'm doing the exact same thing up 2 frets for the B. So I'm just seeing this shape and this shape. So when it changes to those chords, I'm trying to hit those. Because you don't always want it to just sound like an arpeggio that you've glued on. So I'm trying to include it in the melody, you know. You could use that whole arpeggio. I'm just using fragment of that arpeggio just to keep it tasteful. And the only other thing I did in that track at the beginning was I played an E dominant 7th arpeggio over the E, which is here, so 13, 12, 10. I use that shape as well. And that's really nice when you go from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, because you can hit the E dominant 7 arpeggio there, and then hit this like little D shape for the A chord. So I'll try and show you how that works. Perfect, to be honest, but yeah, using the dominant 7 arpeggio there, back into the, like I say, all these notes, they're all in these 2 scales that we just fused together, so it's all surrounding what we're already doing. Remember, what you're really trying to do is listening to the chords underneath and just making it work over the chords. So over the E7, E minor pentatonic, E major pentatonic, and then over the chord changes, see if you can nail those chord tones. But if you kept on the E minor and E major pentatonics, they would work over the whole sequence, it's no problem. But if you can try and target those chord changes as well, it just sounds more expensive, don't it? So this is a nice little shape that I employ all the time if I'm doing a major minor kind of thing over a major chord sequence. This doesn't work the other way around. If you've got a minor chord sequence and play major over it, doesn't sound very nice at all. It's always this way around. So major, in a major key, playing the minor chords, a minor scale over it, or the minor pentatonic scale over it, should I say, and it works. I've always approached things from a minor pentatonic scale or a major scale perspective. Minor pentatonic, major scale. I know the other stuff, but those are ones that I know I can play live in front of an audience with that mindset of loads of people standing there and pull out what I need to pull out lick-wise, and it works and it sounds good without me standing there on stage thinking, right, okay, if I play a Phrygian over the, whatever. No, I'll probably fall over at that point on stage. So musically, so I'm just trying to keep things like taking stuff that we already know and just making it sound kind of a little bit more colourful by adding some stuff to it or superimposing something else on top of it. Anyway, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, please hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and the like button, and ring the bell. I'm trying to post once a week at the minute. Doesn't always happen. I apologise if it doesn't, but I'm doing my best to post once every week. And leave a comment. Let's chat below. I love reading all the comments, and I do read all the comments. So leave us a comment and let me know what you think and any other video ideas you've got you'd like me to do. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Before I forget, if you do want to leave me a tip in the tip jar, there's a PayPal link below. I appreciate that. If you'd like to do that. A few people have done that, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. See you later.